Welcome, everyone. It's a nice fall day.
It is
It
where
is a
I am.
beautiful day for sure.
Casey, it looks like you're wearing short sleeves. Are you wearing short sleeves in Utah?
I am. It has been a really warm November.
It has in Oklahoma too. Like we had a couple of days that were cold, and I was like, "Ooh, bring on the fall." And then it's back into the 80s.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad it's not in the 80s, but it's solidly 50 degrees here.
Wow. Okay. 50, 55 is my temperature. Like if it's
Mm.
55 and below, I want a jacket. But above that, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, that's my little
It's
marker right there.
it's been actually pretty warm here in the Northeast. I mean, at night it's been cold, but we've been hovering around the 50s,
Mm.
which is fairly warm for us. It's only a matter of time, and considering that I have to go out to the horse paddocks and shovel, poop and feed horses twice a day, at the break of dawn and then at dusk, I'm not complaining. But it's exciting.
Yeah, where is everybody else from and like what's the temperature? So, um, we have a special guest with us today, and I absolutely adore our special guest. So she is here, and y'all are in for a treat. So, I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Mhm. And we were
That is
just
very kind of you.
complimenting Casey's background.
Oh.
It's very nice and inviting.
So
So we've
great to
got
see everybody.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice to see everyone. And the exciting thing that's happening in this episode, this is the kickoff to our AI showcase. So we've been talking about it for a little bit. All year long, we've been really kind of highlighting AI applications and how to incorporate that in our firms. Heather and I last week had a ball talking about ChatGPT and Copilot, where they both fit in.
I did.
Yeah, it was
It was
really
super fun.
enlightening.
It really was. Yeah.
And here we are again. And the thing that we really want to do is raise awareness, not fear. So I feel like the more education that you have in the AI space, the better prepared you are with how does it fit into my firm? How can I utilize it? So we want to bring awareness to all of our peers that are thinking about, this whole new universe with that includes AI and how to incorporate that in a comfortable way that's actually assisting you in your life.
Yeah,
So
no, it's pretty incredible the things that I'm hearing around our industry and how people are using AI and experimenting with AI is really really fascinating to me. And I'm excited that we're able to bring this to folks because we hear about them at conferences, but we don't get to really dig into them, which is what we're going to be doing in this AI and AI accounting app series that we're doing, these showcases. So exciting stuff.
it is very exciting. So today is all about exploring AI workflow, and we have our special guest Canopy here. So we're going to be going through the Canopy environment. Casey, who is our special guest, is going to be showing that demo to us. So I will keep us rolling, and I think that most everyone here knows myself, Liz Scott. I love playing with technology. That is the place that excites me and motivates me. I was watching a really cool series on Netflix, and it was talking about what's your purpose. Like that purpose is the thing that fuels you and gets you up every single day. And technology is it. I mean, I feel like it's ever changing, and I always need my environment to change. So there's a lot to explore. So it's a great space for me to be in. Heather, you
I,
want to give a little bit of background? Or
for me,
yeah,
you're
or
kicking it over to
if
me.
you don't want to do
Yeah, I
back.
mean, I same. I AI. I mean, not it just AI now, but technology has really shaped my career. It's kind of been my happy space is helping people to really embrace technology to make their lives a little easier. So and more accurate. So as accountants, that's really important to us. So yeah, and now I get to work helping accounting professionals use their voice and learn as the Director of Education and Media here at Woodard. So excited to be here with all of you today. Thanks for joining us.
I would love to hear, like, if anybody here wants to share what their purpose is. Like, today's purpose. It doesn't matter. It's just, I think it's one of those, the series that I was talking about that was on Netflix was all about blue zones, like these 100-year-old people, and they were all talking about that they had a purpose, whether that was, meeting with their family for the day or making musical instruments. It's like that was part of what motivated them to keep on living. So I'd love to hear your purpose. Casey, you have been in a place that I've been able to meet with you quite often throughout the last couple of years. And so I adore you, but I would love for you to get a chance to share a little bit about yourself with the audience.
Yeah, I have been at Canopy for almost 4 years now and love it. It was my first time working in the accounting space. I had a lot of learning to do there at first, and I feel like there's never a more accomplished feeling than when you can hang with people like Liz and Heather. You're like, oh my gosh, I get it. I've arrived. And so I do. This is one of my favorite parts of my job, this hosting the podcast, talking to accountants. I'm just extremely grateful for avenues like this in my career. Um, yeah, but you asked a really great question. I'm going to answer it live too. What gives me purpose? And that's my family. I have three little girlies and I love them half to death. I love being a mom, but I also really love being a working mom.
Mm,
And I'm grateful for a company like Canopy that I get to work at with wonderful humans, that has great leadership and a great product, and we're servicing a great market, and it's just fun. It's just a good time.
it is. I get to see your adorable little girls from time to time, and oh my gosh, some of the little outfits that they'll show up in, and they're such girly girls.
They are sweet.
So cute.
Fun.
So cute. You have a beautiful family.
Oh, thank you.
Heather, do you want to share your purpose?
Yeah, so my purpose is to help people feel heard and help people be confident in who they are and what they do. So that's my purpose, is to pump you up. So
There's a lot of meaning in that.
Mhm.
I feel like as accountants, you kind of hit the nail on the head that a lot of us enjoy those aha moments with our clients or giving clients value. So, I think that probably resonates with a lot of people here.
Right. Was that Hans or Franz? You got it, Tori. Thank you for that. Hello.
Do you want to do a thank you to our sponsors?
Oh, I always want to do a thank you to our sponsors. So thank you to all of our amazing sponsors that make Appy Hour possible. Liz and I, our favorite thing to do is to come out here, hang out with you guys, and to highlight apps that we love and that are really making our profession better. So huge thank you to those apps that have supported us to in our platform.
100%. And all year long, we've been on a zero mission. So many of you here wanted to explore what GLs were out there, and Zero has came and provided a lot of training education throughout the year, and it's been very, very cool. And we're coming to a close of the year, so it feels nice to be able to celebrate that mission and that journey together.
It has been
And
wonderful.
it is nice and wonderful to be able to see what all is out there. And in this place of AI, I've had a chance to go to Canopy and to be in person inside of their headquarters. And this topic of exploring AI and specifically in workflows was something that was on the board last year. And there was this whole conversation of, do people want AI to feel like something they're engaging with, or does AI need to be in the background? And so I really like this approach that Canopy kind of has this hybrid that's going on. So you can be as involved with it as you want it to be in your workflow or not, but we're going to get to see where it really shines in this place that many of us have struggled which is taskings and requests from clients. So that's really exciting.
Hmm.
Now, y'all are seeing me drink right now, and typically I wait until the drink slide comes up. I couldn't
But
today.
it's so good.
So, this has got one of my favorite, well, several of my favorite ingredients in it. So, cranberry juice, I'm all in. I love fresh cranberries, so I actually ordered some cranberries to arrive right before the episode so I could throw them in there. And then lime, I'm a big fan of. And then
Me too.
instead of triple sec, I put orange juice in mine.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's tasty. It kind of adds that little bit of you know, uh, cuts down some of the vodka type flavor. So
You know,
yeah.
I did a hot apple cider. We're in hot apple cider season
Oh,
here in the Northeast. And so I had
Oh.
hot apple cider and I put a little bit of cranberry in it, and a little bit of rum. And it was absolutely delicious. And it was just like the
Mm.
perfect little after dinner comfort cocktail. So
I feel like I'm drinking the holidays right here in my cup. It's the way I feel. Well, yep, on the happy hour, we loved sharing our cocktails, so
we do.
delicious. But we also like sharing, our problems so that way we can get them out in the open and talk about them to try and find solutions together. So, onboarding, oh my gosh. Casey, you and I have spent some time talking about this as, you've been really actively involved in this new solution feature, Smart Intake. But onboarding is an area that I would say everyone here struggles with. It's a pain point that we all feel. And I think that you've learned so much in your position with Canopy when it comes to the pain points that are here with onboarding.
yeah. I mean, at a risk of stating the obvious, the reason why this is a bottleneck is because it is the point where you capture net new information. You don't have anything to go off of. So you're not experiencing this specific type of bottleneck necessarily with your clients. And you can see the list of things there that clog this bottleneck, right? Waiting to get the information you need. Maybe you're not communicating really outlined and buttoned up standard operating procedures or processes to your clients. Maybe you're still in that phase of growing as a firm, depending on how large you are. And I honestly would recommend you look at those like the same day you establish your LLC, honestly. But it's hard. It's
It
hard
is
to set
hard.
aside that time. Um, and as a result, it can take 45 to 90 minutes. I think we actually had this conversation on Canopy's platform. And I should actually pull that data up because we asked people, and they said on average of 600 people that we polled, 60% of um, people who responded said it took anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours.
Mhm.
So it can take a lot of time, a very manual process. And then throw in that last one, no verticals. You can think of this as segments, client buckets, ideal client profiles, things that make it easy for you to clump clients together and then therefore have outlined standard operating procedures and not have 100 ways of doing the same thing because it's all specific to the client.
Yeah. And, to that point on how long does it take, and you were talking about 2 or 3 hours, that time is not all in one burst. And I think that
Yes.
that's why it's so painful is that it's piece by piece and it's not easy to get because there's so many times it's like, okay, I asked 4 questions and I got the answer to 1.5.
Hmm.
So then you have to reframe your question or just send it over to the again and ask the question again. So it's that part is painful.
It's the pick up, put down, which really burns our profitability, right?
Mhm.
On our engagements. When we are getting partial information, we start to get into it. We realize that we don't have everything we need, and now we have to go chase. It's just so inefficient. It is. I would say it's the biggest pain point that we have in our
Mhm.
profession for sure.
I 100% agree. And I think that I love this little you've got a muscle man or muscle arm there. I shouldn't call it a muscle man, it could be muscle girl. But you've
Muscle
got
arm.
I know you got a little strong arm there. It's like, so how can we do it differently? And I think that that's the part where, you know, if we share amongst each other ways to do things differently, that strengthens us. So it doesn't have to be just one person's idea. It's really that coming together on how can we do it different. And part of it is that structure for the intake. And that's
Hmm.
also, a piece that can have some automations along the way, which, like to your point, Heather, you were talking about the pick up, put down. It can it can eliminate some of that.
Well, and Tori in the chat called it stoppy starty,
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
which I love. Tori, you might need to trademark that and write a book or
Yeah.
something.
I
But
love it.
you guys are all speaking to something that is very well known, very well researched, and that's just the concept of context switching on deep work. When you cannot get into deep work, or when you are in deep work and then you get pulled out of it. Oh, Stoppy Starty is Jason Stats. Dang it. I do love him though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sorry you can't trademark it, Tori. Um, but the more you can enable yourself and other people at your firm to get into deep work, the more you'll get done in less time because that context switching really is, it's not just like a harm on our brains, our physique, your frustration, whatever. It really does impact your ability to get something done in a condensed amount of time. It does elongate the process.
And it fatigues you. And I think
Yeah.
that, if you talk to somebody who's new in accounting in bookkeeping, what they would say is that there's so much to learn. And if you talk to somebody and so they get overwhelmed. If you talk to somebody who's been in counting and bookkeeping for a long time, they would say there's so much to do once you learn it, and then they get burned out because there's so much. And so anything that we can do to eliminate or to reduce the doing and the burnout is going to allow you to be in that space where your brain operates the best. You're able to perform the quality work that you want to deliver without the burnout.
Yeah.
Right.
So the polished engagement, I think that this is an area that many people want to have a professional engagement letter. They want to start off the engagement in a way that sets the tone. And that's not easy to do whenever you're first starting out. So it does take a little while to get to a place that you understand what it is that you want to put in your engagements. And
Mm.
then you can start to create some routine there.
Yeah. I do think it can't be overstated enough how impactful this can be even for a solopreneur because it's the same principle with all these other aspects that we're highlighting, the smart intake portion, automated follow-ups. When you put off of a certain error, people will respond in kind.
Mhm.
It is the tendency of a solopreneur to be super scrappy, which is very important. You don't want to lose that. We even like try to lean into that at Canopy, even though we're 250 employees now. But you don't want to be so scrappy that you're sacrificing the client experience and then also underserving yourself because when you don't put forth polished engagements, when you don't use automation for follow-ups, when you do them manually, when you don't have a structure for intake, it has this very segmented stoppy starty feel for the client as well, which is
It
not a
does.
professional um experience. And
Mm-mm.
then they will treat you in kind that way, right? They will think that you are available at all hours. They will think that they're paying for you to remind them and they're not seeing that maybe you're also the strategic person. It undercuts your value really fast.
I agree with that. And I love what Jennifer put into chat. Multitasking is not a superpower. It
Yeah.
is something that I think leads to that brain fatigue and burnout.
Yeah.
And, I
Yes.
get it that many of us work in a space where we've got to be able to navigate and move from client to client to client because we don't always have all of the information all at once. But whenever we've got some type of automated system to at least let us know if we've got the information that we need to even start the job,
Mm.
or to be able to send them an automation to follow up with them, to be able to say, okay, there's not everything here, the timeline gets pushed back. That's not on us, but oftentimes we take that responsibility of, oh, but there's still a deadline. Well, and part of that is the communication. So the
Well,
more
and that's where I think the engagements come to be really crucial because that's where you communicate the SOPs, your services, your conditions, your terms. And if you do commit them to memory or you use a system to help you commit them to memory, then again, you're using a system to offload the reminders and you're saying, client, you already agreed to this. You know that if you don't get me your books by the third, I'm not a bookkeeper, I apologize, so I'm probably not throwing out accurate dates here, then I can't close the month by the fifth, right? Um, do we close the month on the first? That seems
no.
okay. I
We'd
didn't
be
think so.
happy to do it by the 10th or the 15th.
Oh, okay. So I
Typically
was even
it's,
being
yeah.
pretty aggressive.
I've
Um,
heard I've heard some firms are now doing it by the third, but that's
wow.
still pretty uncommon.
That is impressive, especially if the
Mhm.
third is a Monday.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's aggressive. I would wonder how many
Yeah.
are able to achieve that.
Right. Yeah.
I think that many here, like, talking about engagements, many here would even say that they maybe have already put into the terms in their agreements that if they're going to close by a certain date, it's like, say for us, the 10th, that's a higher priority client than the
Mm,
15th.
yes.
Hmm.
So, the client is going to pay for that kind of service, but that's also an expectation on their part to give us what we need in order to be able to close. So that's all setting those expectations.
Yeah.
I love this conversation here. So smart intake, build it once. I'm gonna pass it over to you, Casey, because I know you have a lot of thoughts around this.
I do. I'm very much I only want my brain to do certain things and I want to offload as much as possible. So really early in my career, I was lucky enough to go to a workshop on the book Getting Things Done by
Mm.
David Allen, which I feel like is a decently well-known framework. There are YouTube videos out there that summarize his framework in like 8 minutes. I highly recommend it. One of the big things I took away from that is like, if I can do it in 2 minutes or less, just do it now. Don't add it to a to-do list. Don't put it in your project management tool. Okay. Just do it. Um, but the other thing I learned through that, and then a book I read several years later, called Building a Second Brain, I didn't realize how much of that, like, I unconsciously was doing. And it's just the concept of like, you need a system. Um, James Clear also talks about this in Atomic Habits. He says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And if your
Ooh.
systems are not good, then again, you won't reach your goals. Anything that can be templatized, if that's a word, should be templated. I please and I loved even just the title of that book, Building a Second Brain, because our brains as humans are meant more for strategic thought and challenges and not holding on to whose birthday is coming up next and I have to call my mother for this thing or I have to call this client for this thing or I need this document from this client. All of those things are better handled by systems. And for the most part, especially if you've identified client buckets, oh my goodness. Building out specific SOPs into templates and then finding and leveraging automation throughout those templates. Chef's kiss. Like your future self will thank you.
Love that. Another great book that I've read that really helps people that kind of it puts an exclamation point on what you just said is the Checklist Manifesto. which talks about
Mm,
the importance of creating that checklist for your
yeah.
organization, not to show them what to do, but
Mm.
what to do if it steps outside of the process.
Oh,
So
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so that's a really good one too.
Like troubleshooting.
Yeah, but like setting in like here's what's supposed to happen in the workflow, but then
Mm.
embedding in the SOP, here's what you do when something goes wrong, right?
Okay, okay. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And but it also reminded me of another point. If you are a growing firm or if you're afraid to delegate, this makes it so much easier to delegate.
It does.
You
Yeah.
and anybody can do anything, more or less. And like a very typical entrepreneurial problem is in hiring and thinking that you need to hire someone who's at the same level of skill as you are. And that's not true. You just need to hire someone who can follow the process. And finding the process, outlining the process, and outlining it in a way that is followable can be hard. You do need to slow down to speed up in that sense. But I also think that like AI is great for helping you tease this out, helping you poke holes in your own, getting things out of your brain and into a system. Sometimes that can be hard, but honestly, like your future self will thank you. Do it sooner rather than later. The best time to plant a tree is yesterday. The next best time is today. Same thing with building your processes.
Oh,
Oh,
you're
Liz,
muted.
you're muted.
Haha. I like the idea of AI for customization. I mean, I think that, Heather and I have talked to this particular group, and I think that y'all are savvy people. And so a lot of you here have done some of that. So going over to AI and plugging in a particular problem or talking about using Loom for some of your SOPs and, Scribe. And so a lot of you here, I think, are probably above the standard of most accountants and bookkeepers, but there's always room. And, one of the things that you said that really stuck me, it hit me hard. There we go. Was the idea of we fall to the level of our systems.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
we don't have systems in place, that means that we don't wake up on our best days every day. And
Yeah.
if there's not a system in place to be able to catch us on our not best days, well, that we're going to fall.
Yeah,
So
because even you might know the process just fine, but will you trip up here and there? Will you get distracted by one of those things that's pulling you away and getting you into that stoppy starty? Like, of course, we're only
Mhm.
humans and we only live in a world of other humans.
mhm,
So make the system too helps ensure that you don't forget anything.
100%. I like that a lot. Well, and there's so many good book recommendations out
Mhm.
there. I think that this particular group loves books too. And I'm an Audible fan, so you'll catch me a lot of times listening to books, especially whenever I'm traveling in my car, on a plane, whatever. And that's how I spend a lot of my time. So a lot of
And
good book recommendations.
I've been throwing the links to the books that have been mentioned so far in this episode because we've been throwing out a lot of names in the
Hmm.
chat.
Thank you, Heather. Well, I think that what we're getting ready to see is, yeah, there we are, is
Same.
some of this in action. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Casey, and want to
I
make
just
sure.
sent a request to share as well. Oh, there we go.
Your request has been granted.
It's like the wand or the
Yes,
the magic
absolutely shall
genie.
receive.
Oh, we were traveling with my son's band, and there was a lamp, this huge, ginormous lamp, and it looked just like a genie lamp. And so it was $35 in an antique shop. So it came home. So now I can grant wishes.
Oh, yay. Okay, I'm assuming you can see my screen all right.
We can, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go through this on a journey with you. I'm going to take you on a journey, on a magic carpet ride on the theme of being genies and having a genie lamp. Um, from acquisition so like evaluation to acquisition, as in like converting them from a prospect to a client, and then to intake. This is the area where we see lots of opportunity to help automate, to help you put forward your best foot, look professional as a firm, all of these things, okay? So right now, I'm on a client record, Anderson and Garcia Construction. This is a business account. And let's all pretend that they've emailed me, said, hey, so-and-so referred me, or I found your website, whatever, right? They came my way, and I now want to say, great. Who's my contact on here? Great, David. Glad to meet you, but I don't know that I want to do business with you. I need to find out. I have questions I like to ask. Those questions here, I already built a template. Telling you, I'm a big fan of templates. We'll do my SMB client intake. You can, of course, add a due date and a reminder. I'm going to skip past that for the sake of time. You can see it automatically. It assigns the client and myself as the assignee because Canopy's smart and you need a smart software. You can, of course, put a welcome message explaining your little survey here. But I have said, you know what? At Casey CPAs, this firm's actually Mountain West CPAs. I already have a fake name. We only want to work with people or businesses who use QuickBooks Online. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you guys are really big Xero fans. And I only want to work with people who have 501 to 1,000 transactions a month. You can put those questions in here and then collect that information. You can also ask for files, of course. This could be a great opportunity to ask. I heard recently a good suggestion of asking someone to upload their credit report as a part of evaluating them. I was like, how interesting.
That is interesting.
You could ask them to upload the last 6 months of their general ledger. You could ask them to upload last year's tax return, or you could, after this, maybe you just want to pull a transcript. You send them an e-signature, get that POA, and you pull their transcript and check their taxes or something. But this whole aspect of acquisition is evaluating them for ideal client fit. This is a very common practice in good marketing. And as a marketer, I would be remiss if I didn't pass on best practices of also marketing that I feel like this industry can definitely leverage. So I'm not going to send this. We're going to pretend that David has filled it out. I reviewed his responses and I'm like, yes, David, you are exactly who I want to work with. But now I need to get the ball rolling. I'm going to start with an engagement. You'll notice I also have a template here. And this, if you love Leo DiCaprio and some of his movies, is where we get into template inception. So hopefully you can follow along here. You can see here from my template, stuff already started to populate. I've got a name for the engagement. I've built this one to be that it begins on acceptance. It's a 12-month period. You can see the clients already populated. And then we've got a role here. Remember last time it assigned me as an individual? Well, in my templates, I highly recommend that you leverage roles. Liz and Heather, if there's a question in the chat, please feel free to interrupt me.
Will do.
There but I'm going to answer it and then come back to it later.
Okay.
And I'm going to answer your question.
Okay. Please use roles in your templates because you don't want to accidentally create bottlenecks when you're trying to alleviate bottlenecks. This way, something can go into a pool or be assigned to a role that then many people might be able to fulfill that role and then they can go in and grab it as needed. Or maybe you have, let's say you're a bookkeeping firm and you've got 200 clients and 5 bookkeepers. And you say, well, this is the bookkeeper on this client. You can do that on the client record in Canopy. And that way you can still build out these procedures. And then when you create and send this for the specific client, it will then say, oh, Liz is the bookkeeper for Anderson Garcia Construction. But I'm not going to put that in the template. It will get auto-assigned after it's sent and created. Anyway, please leverage roles. They are awesome. Of course, put a welcome message and then Liz mentioned Loom, which I was really grateful for because I've seen a lot of trending use and recommendation of Loom as well. I think it's a great tool. I use it all the time. This is a Loom video that I think I made. I made it for LinkedIn. I've made several for Liz as well, though.
Mhm.
But it's a great way for someone to see your face, connect this as a human element, but it's still very professional. All of this is very professional. You can also add a PDF if you would like. Okay. Then we're going to move on to services. And this is where we get into like template upon template inception, which I love. You build like these little pieces and it makes it approachable to build out to because then you can just do one element and then you can do the next element. I will also tease if you are a Canopy customer, we are very soon doing a 3-part workshop preparation for tax season. The first workshop we're calling Template Tactics. We're really leaning into alliteration, by the way. Template Tactics, wow, say that 5 times fast. Profitable Proposals and Start Smart. All around the concept of like exactly what I'm telling you, but like click by click, we're going to help you do it. So you can see here, I have some services, 4 services, monthly bookkeeping and bank reconciliations. I then also have task templates attached to those. Okay, so these are templates of the service and the service item, and you can see they're populating the dollar amount. I do want you to know, like, you can bill very flexibly here per item, per hour, right? Um, Control your tax percentage, so on and so forth. You can change this ad hoc if you'd like. But again, we're attaching task templates. And what happens is that the moment this is signed, those task templates are created. So we're also eliminating the manual work and automating it for you. So that's that. And you can see here along to the right, I didn't necessarily call this out on that last panel, but this is the client preview. And then you can always add another billing block, and here's some just a teaser of how you can structure these things. You can choose your billing type, one time, recurring, the billing schedule. You can have some customizability, goodness, down here as well. This allow automatic billing is huge, right? And it's selected by default. So again, if you have recurring things, it can just continue to work on those payments, okay? We'll move on to terms now. These are also in the template. This is in your service item template library where you create this is my general one. This one is attached to my monthly bookkeeping in my service item library. And I use ChatGPT to help me make these. I'm no accountant, so I wasn't sure like what things would I want to ensure that people do or don't do. And maybe you know these off the top of your head because you've had terrible clients who are like, they took advantage of me. They stepped over the boundaries. I know I don't want that to happen again. Or maybe you have examples of good clients. You're like, oh, if every client could be like that, you know those things. You can brain dump them into ChatGPT or you can start to outline them directly within Canopy or something. But again, I highly encourage that you communicate them because then you can hold them to it and your staff to it and say, hey, they're asking for this thing, but it is out of scope. And then that's another engagement opportunity, more revenue for you. Okay.
That earlier when we were talking about terms and, closing, it's like that would be a great place for you to put in your terms. It's like, if we have all of the documents by such and such date, we will close by such and such date. You know,
Exactly.
so
Yeah,
so you know, I love what you're showing is all of the templatation here, temp,
that's
templatizing.
okay. We're picking
So
up
we're
what you're
making
laying down.
yeah, we're like making creating new words today.
Yep.
But before you close it all out, there's some comments about how do we customize. So
Mm,
I'm gonna pause that until you show this last part, but it's
okay.
coming.
I'll ignore the chat for just a little bit then. Okay, so then here, the last spot, I add my signer. It's only going to display people who are available, those who are contacts on this client record. I can, of course, do this in bulk, by the way. So I'll just go ahead and select David, um, say that he is also the person responsible for payments. I can require a payment method to be shared for future payments. Please stop chasing payments. If you're doing that, there are better ways to make sure that you have recurring revenue, a really solid cash flow. I can also require a deposit and then use that to apply as a credit towards future invoices. Um, and then I could save and send that. I've already sent that same engagement to that person multiple times. So I can just open up their client portal and show that to you. Should I switch to the client portal or should I answer questions now?
Go ahead and show the client portal. I think we'll come back and we'll look at some of the customizations after you show all these kind of automations first.
Okay. Okay. So then in the client portal, you can see a few things here. I do want to highlight that you can, like, I'm now David, right? I can toggle between various client portal logins, the one for my business and the one for me and my family. You can see I have, man, maybe I'm not a very good client. I also never actually make the fake payments on this this record, so I apologize. But we will see that I need to go to the to-do list to see my engagement because I sent it a while ago. Here we go. This is what it will look like for them. They'll be walked through this just like you kind of saw on that right-hand panel. Very similar experience. You'll notice that we do put elements that are required that really ensure that they know this is a legally binding document. They cannot even confirm and sign until they've select payment details. This, like, again, like David has a saved payment detail here. So it makes it easy and fast. And again, no chasing payments. We do not believe in chasing payments at Canopy. Authorize, sign, and hey, here's your deposit due. And here's a little processing fee. Confirm agreement. And the moment I do that as David, those associated task templates are kicked off within Canopy. And I don't have to have an admin do that.
I think that
Okay.
that part's huge. And so, okay, what you just said, I'm going to repeat. So when the client says yes to the engagement, what happens, Casey?
Any and not any and all, I guess that's the same thing. All task templates that you've associated with each of your service items. So I've been doing a lot of research here because we're actually going to be releasing 3-tiered proposals very soon within engagements, and methodologies of how to structure service items, your pricing, as well as like, is it a one-to-one relationship with your task template? Anyway, you can structure that however you best see fit. You can also add task templates ad hoc as you're building the engagement. I highly recommend that there's likely the opportunity for you to build like an admin only client onboarding task too. Maybe you need to do things on your end, send them this software login, send them this thing, whatever, right? So that might be something that's not associated with a service item, but still needs to be accomplished as a part of onboarding. And then you can still kick off that task as well.
I think that that cannot be undervalued or highlighted enough that one of the biggest pain points that we have is onboarding. And most of the time, it doesn't matter the size of the firm. The problem is getting the client from the phone call to reoccurring.
Mhm.
That entire piece that exists in between is painful. It's painful for you, it's painful for the client. The client doesn't understand exactly the types of services that they're engaging in. They don't quite understand what they're buying. They're still a little bit new to you, and they're crossing their fingers, hopeful that they're going to get what they're subscribing to. But any way that you can eliminate some of the pain, I think
Mm.
that that's where you really want to lean into your tool. And so when we were, if you don't mind going back over into Canopy and go into the service area, because we did have Jean who was talking about, in this place of customization. So
Yeah,
you,
Jean, what is it that you're wanting to customize? Because there's
so
lots you can customize.
I think that what she's wanting to know is our right now what we're showing is you're showing a very templated
Mhm.
automated process that does have the AI piece to it that eliminates a lot of the pain points. And so you are showing just how quickly you can move through these elements
Yeah.
that often take us hours.
Yes, I've already spent hours building all of that, right? I'm just trying to save us all time by demoing it in the best way possible.
Well,
The
I'm
intake
talking
forms,
about like
yes.
ad hoc, one at a time, whenever we're onboarding a client. Each time that we're doing
Yeah,
that, the things that you're showing with the automation here, it's like you move through this so quickly because you created it, you
yeah,
slowed down, created it, and now you can
mhm,
utilize it over and over again. But
yeah,
just because you created those templates doesn't mean that you can't customize. So
yeah.
when
So,
you're in that service engagement, can you show how you can customize some of that?
well, and Jean did reply and clarify the
Oh,
intake
okay.
forms. So yes, I mean everything I templatize, of course, is custom. I
Mhm.
built the service items custom, the my hourly fees or my flat rate fees, all of that is customized. Jean, I think what you are talking about is it would be the next step in the process, especially for a tax client. I think there are other use cases for this, but it has a great use in tax workflow, is what the area is being called. I don't know if you saw, but I glossed. There we go. I glossed over this when I chose my acquisition form because I didn't feel like I needed AI. Maybe you want to use AI at that point of acquisition, but you typically know what you want to assess and your qualifications, right? But where you want to use AI to customize is when you've got a boilerplate. In fact, probably a lovely one like this one. I believe this one is from UltraTax. Um, it's 4 pages. You may have done this before with a fillable PDF, or maybe you use a software that has a boilerplate organizer. We've had a boilerplate organizer for quite a while. Um, but the biggest complaint we get about it is that it's boilerplate and people are answering questions that they've answered before or that aren't applicable to them. And so I'm not going to demo this part because it does take several minutes, but what you can do, um, yes, okay, I need to toggle that on, sorry. This button, as soon as you've toggled the option to use AI on, you can say convert file to questionnaire, and it's going to take that PDF and it's going to build it for you. It might take like 3 to 5 minutes, but that's a lot better than the 3 to 4 hours that I've heard it takes to do manually. One of our professional services employees tried to do it and she's like, Casey, this took me 4 hours. And I was like, holy cow, I'm so sorry.
Tyler,
Um,
you're muted. I know you're talking over there.
I was talking. Yeah, no, that is so cool. And so 3 to 4 minutes to take that whole however many page PDF and convert it in. I would actually love to see that. Um,
it just
in
takes, it just spins in the background though. Like there's nothing
right.
that you see.
Oh, so you don't
So
see, and then it's just
yeah.
there. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
So what I'll do is what you can do then, right, is what I've done.
Oh,
I've
okay.
I've done that and then I saved it as a template already. So
Okay.
now I've got my organizer template and now I can do, I think, Jean, what you're talking about, customize it. So I'm creating this again. You can see I'm doing this on this
Mhm.
client's record. Um, very soon we will have this in bulk. We already have this in bulk for just document checklists, but right now I'm building a questionnaire. So if you want to do just a checklist of documents that you want to request from clients, you can use AI to generate request lists like that in bulk, but it won't have like yes, no, multi-select questions. This is a questionnaire. I'm doing this just for this client. I can put in my prompt of please customize the attached template to this client's previously uploaded tax documents from 2024, right? Um,
I love this.
That's incredible.
It
yeah.
is incredible.
So I've got my template, I've got my prompt, and it is already, you'll see this little I button, individualized based on existing client data and history in Canopy. I
Mhm.
don't need that prompt. It will still see the files that are on record for this client. Now, I can, of course, still have that prompt and do everything I can to help guide the AI. And again, AI gets better and better every time you use it. The more you use it, I can, of course, add a client date and a reminder. I'm just going to save us time and go straight to doing this. This will take 30 seconds to a minute. You can close out of it if you want to like go and do something else and come back. Um, I'll I will navigate to
While you're
uh
doing that, navigating, I'm going to ask another question for just the sake
yes.
of time. Um, so the other question that we have in here is asking, is this good fit for bookkeeping only firms or just tax firms? Where does
Oh,
Canopy belong?
Chet. Both. It depends. I would say a big part of it depends on your tech stack, how much you want to replace, what you like about your current tech stack. We definitely have a bigger brand in tax because that's where we started, but we've also pivoted a lot. We also have some really big bookkeeping news coming that I'm not allowed to say specifically. Um, but I hear you as a bookkeeper. I'm assuming you're a bookkeeper by your comment. And so does our leadership team. Um, okay. So you saw that this did finish. I toggled back over here and it finished. So that was like what, 45 seconds, maybe a minute. It is giving you a summary of the form. I'm going to actually move to the client portal and show you. I mean, again, you can go through, sorry, you can go through and see it. And any changes you make do go back to feed the model. So if there's something like, I don't need that question or I don't like this section, just delete it or make an edit, add a new question, and it will respond and get better. But here, I had sent this one previously to David, and you can see I've interacted with it a bit. The thing I want to highlight here is A, it's saved my progress, which I think is so great. B, it is building a dynamic live document checklist based on how I respond to conditional questions. So if I go back to this builder, I will see whenever there is a little triangle with an if in it, right there, that I have a conditional question or a group of questions. And this will only launch based on the condition, right? And you can see the condition right there. But I can have file upload questions that are the conditional response. Okay. So if I show you that here, did you receive an identification protection PIN? If I hit no, that question goes away. If you notice, this document checklist went from 1 to 3 to 1 of 4. If I hit yes, it pops back up. Okay. Um, I believe another one of my conditional questions, yes, is right here. Again, if I say no, that question goes away. If I say yes, it comes back. Um, I'm looking for one specifically because I also want to show you um, our document matching because and maybe it's here. There it is. Okay, so I've already uploaded this document. It's if yes to either of the above. Oh my goodness, everyone. Then it displayed this following file upload question. I already uploaded a document here, so I believe it's not going to remove it just because I changed my answer. And I uploaded it a while ago, and we do have rules where like a client can't delete a file after 10 minutes. That way you don't like lose it. Um, but in here, you'll notice what I had done was I had dragged it and dropped it here, and then it matched it to this request. So it will look at the title of the document and the contents in the document to assign files. And if you upload documents that don't match, they're still uploaded. You're not going to lose those. They just come down here.
I think that what's cool is how dynamic this is, how much you can customize as you're going. And I loved the idea that, you were talking about creating a one-time query of AI to say, help me with that questionnaire. And then you took that and you templatized it. It's like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to do this query over and over again. I can create that and templatize it and then use it over and over again. And then I customize the pieces that I need to customize.
Yep.
So
And you
I
can do
feel
that for questionnaires and just document request lists as well. Yep.
document request list, I mean, that's huge in our work. So I think that there's a whole lot of use cases here. one of the things I'm going to say is it's hard to wrap your head around everything that we just saw and understand it. So, Heather, if you don't mind launching our poll to be able to say, do you want to learn more? Because this would allow somebody who is intrigued, it's like, okay, I just saw some like really cool things and I want to be able to slow down so I can understand more so that way I can get to this place. Here's your
Absolutely.
chance.
Yeah. And we'll just leave that up for just about a minute. So if you'd like to learn more about Canopy, please answer, and we will make sure that we send along your information.
I, thanks, Jennifer, for joining. I have to say, I have seen this in action several times, and there's several different components to what we just saw. So, smart intake is what Canopy is calling this feature, but there's so many different pieces of making that onboarding smoother
Mm.
that that's what we need is we need a chance to be able to understand how many different stop and go points that there really are inside of onboarding and how we can really speed that up by having a tool that's going to help us in that. What was Tori calling it earlier?
Starty stoppy.
Starty stoppy.
Yeah, the study stoppy spot.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. If you didn't get a chance to vote, this is your last chance. All right. Thank you.
One of the things that Casey, you and I had a chance to talk about before is where customers are today.
Mm.
And we feel like, a lot of times with being in a place of accounting, what we do is so hard, but whenever we stop and we actually look at the big picture of where our clients are at and what they're engaging with, they're in a very now world. And I love that you pointed that out.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not in a vacuum of you're the only thing providing client experience to someone. They live in the world of DoorDash and Amazon and the list goes on, right? Um, and that's why I do like to emphasize that it's important to put off a professional front, even if you are the only person in your firm, because whether you like it or not, they will compare you to those other experiences. Oh, was I able to do that on my phone while
Mhm.
in line at the grocery store? No, that's really frustrating. Things like that.
I mean, I think that that's a huge reality that many people are facing. So it's important to stop and think about that broader scope. You're not the only types of services that your clients are engaging with. So how can you meet their expectations with delivering services?
Yeah.
So Heather, you want to share some exciting things that are coming out?
Yeah, so our AI, accounting AI technology showcase is going to continue. We're going to take a quick break to enjoy the holiday and the birth of my new grandson, which is happening next week. So that's really exciting. And then we're going to come back on December 2nd with to continue our showcase with digits. And then on the 30th, we're going to do our annual. I think this is the sixth or seventh annual Happy Hour New Year's Eve party. So we'd love to have you join us. What is our New Year's Eve party? We hang out, we play games, we have snacks and drinks, and we ring in the new year together. So we'd love to have you join us for that. And then on the 13th of January, we're going to be continuing on with the showcase with Double, formerly known as Keeper. So we'd love to see you for that. And we have a lot more AI powered apps that are coming on the AI showcase, and we'll be adding those to our website. So keep checking back to theappyhour.com to see who's going to be coming on Appy Hour.
I love this showcase. One of the things that makes me most excited is it's the AI in the assist area. So if we keep framing this new environment, these new tools that we have, and learning about how they can assist us, that's how we get to a place
Mm-hmm.
where we reduce that burnout.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much, Casey, for giving us a wonderful demo of
Yeah.
Canopy. So it was
Anytime. Thank you, Liz. Thank you,
It's
Heather.
fantastic. It's just so great. What I'll tell you, Casey, is that, I used to duct tape all this together using Zapier, automating the onboarding, and to see it all in one cohesive, amazing package is just amazing. So love it.
Yeah.
lots to learn.
It's an exciting time to be in tech for sure.
Absolutely.
It is. It is. And it's, the thing that I keep saying to all of my peers is it's okay that you don't feel like you've grasped it all yet,
Yeah.
because I feel like even in the tech space, there's so much
Well,
development.
yeah, well, and we are feeling pressured from investors, from the board, from the market. Like
Mhm.
vendors are pressured to incorporate this technology. So if you are feeling like, but I'm not learning it, it's okay. Vendors will build it in a way that really should make it so that you don't have to learn it. But if you want to learn it, learn it. It is really fun too.
I love the way you said that. Well, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day and take care until the next time we see you.
Take care, everyone.